Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come on and say I wish you the most amazing 2023 and on. I want to thank you for supporting me through the year. I know I don't show my face very often, but I will try and do that more often in the coming year. I think we are going to have a very interesting 2023. I think that obviously there is a lot of good and bad that we can expect. We have very intense astrology this year, the most intense astrology since 2020. But we have some really good things happening as well. For example, we have Jupiter now in Aries, starting a brand new cycle around the zodiac. So it's a brand new beginning for everyone, really. If you think about your life in the last 12 years, Jupiter will have come kind of full circle for you from your house of Aries to where it is now again. It's bringing gift, lots of blessings. It's bringing growth opportunities, and it's also bringing wisdom. So you can look at that house, and that is also the house where the North Node will be moving into in the middle of the year, bringing more connections and moving us more towards that independence in that area. But before I get to that, that's the one very positive thing as well. But we also have the Uranus-Saturn square that we've had all of last year, the previous year as well. That's been very frustrating, keeping us very blocked or restricted in some way in our lives. So in some area of your life, you felt frustrated, blocked, like you can't move enough. There's somewhere where you need more freedom, more flexibility, maybe a pattern you needed to break away from, or a person or a job, or wanted to make a move you couldn't make, or whatever it may have been for you. It could even have been something very personal and internal for you. That square is now moving into a sextile this year, which is so much more harmonious. And it's going to, and this is happening in March. So if there's those things that you really want to make happen this year, that you really want to forward now, you want to wait till around that time to really move it forward. And so that's a really positive, wonderful thing. So there's a release there. There's a breakthrough there. We also have a Mars retrograde right now, also, of course, till the middle of January, which is really helping us to think where we are putting our energy. Is it worth it? What are we passionate about? Are we working smartly? And really reassessing what is worth our energy as well. And also dealing with our self-control and anger issues that we may have could be coming up at this time in that area for your life. But really, we have so much happening this year. It's a very intense year. We will have eclipses in the Taurus and Scorpio axis, as well as the Aries and Libra axis, because the nodes will be moving into Aries and Libra in the middle of the year. So as well as all the financial changes that'll be happening in the world and the war and peace energies that we have, this will continue because both Taurus and Scorpio, as well as Aries and Libra, are ruled by Mars and Venus. So it's definitely an energy exchange, moving from fixed to cardinal energy, from earth to fire, and from water to air. But it's still dealing with balance. It's still dealing with war and peace. It's still dealing with relationships. So we're still going to have a lot of relationship things to deal with, money, balance, all of that. Me versus you, and so forth. So just continue with the work and the healing and the forgiving. Saturn will be moving into Pisces, of course, as well. And this can bring up a lot of water issues, but it's really a sign of release and endings. So it's really a time to really purify and detox your lymphatic system, and really focus on what you put into your body and what you are feeding yourself and nutrifying yourself with. okay, and staying away from anything that's deceptive. But we also have Pluto dipping its toe into Aquarius this year. So we will have, for a short period, until it permanently moves into the sign of Aquarius around 2024. But we will get an idea of what that transit could bring for us. And so that will be very interesting as well to see. It gives us a bit of foreshadowing there as well. But I think especially that there's a fire in our belly this year with the North Node moving into Aries. So we're becoming more assertive. We're standing up for our rights. We're fighting for our freedoms. We are going to want to take more charge of our lives and initiate those changes that we want to make, that we've been waiting to make. We're going to be more self-confident. We're going to tap into that sense of self. What makes us tick? Where do we want to focus our energy on? And especially now with this Mars retrograde, we've been given opportunity to really see where we want to put our energy and who we want to put our energy towards as well. And so they say where your focus goes, your energy flows. So it's important this year to see where your focus is and where it needs to be, and to focus on fully being your authentic self and expressing yourself and standing up for yourself and your rights and your freedoms. So we are moving forward this year. We are changing. Oh yes, and the Mercury retrogrades are in all earth signs this year. At least the first 3 of them. The last one I'm not really spending too much time on right now because it's at the really, really end of the year. So to me, it's kind of more into next year. But I would say it's all happening in Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So we're dealing with practical solutions in our everyday lives, in our everyday structures and material worlds around us. So we're making changes, we're initiating, and we are standing up for ourselves and being assertive. So this is wonderful. So I recommend really purifying your thoughts, really getting clear on what it is that you desire and where you want to take your life. How are you going to create the life that you want? It starts, of course, by accepting that which we cannot control and surrendering the rest to God. It also starts with accepting responsibility for the reality in our lives that we have created, and forgiving, letting go, and taking control of what we can, and realizing that we cannot control others or what they decide, taking control of what we can in a healthy and balanced way, and making choices moving forward, practical solutions moving forward. So I wish you the best, most curious and wonder-filled 2023. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Until next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, Gemini rising. This is your 2023 Astrology Horoscope potentials. Pluto has been in your 8th house since 2008 of shared resources, wills, legacies, your spouse, intimacy, truth, crisis, shame, surgery, trauma, surgery, jealousy, possessiveness, alimony, death, and also rebirth. Now, Pluto usually begins by breaking down the area of life it moves through and then rebuilds it transformed and renewed in some way and more aligned with your true authenticity and your truth. You've been passing through Pluto's complete transformation since 2008, diving deeper into the meaning of life, becoming more, or maybe you did come into more of a close contact with a death of some kind, or of some part of you, experiencing a profound change through some kind of trauma, or huge financial transformation or person that affected you deeply, your intimacy and trust may have been tested. And your sexuality and deepest desires could have come to quite a potency point with Pluto here, where manipulation can also play a strong role and toxic relationships. Jealousy and betrayal could have reared its head, and in some cases you could have been under some kind of financial power and control dynamic. If you made debt, or you may have inherited funds if other transits supported this. Pluto will ingress into your 9th house of Aquarius on the 23rd of March for a brief stay, moving in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius until its permanent stay by the end of 2024. But for now, we can get a taste of what this could bring. But overall, you will be searching and gaining more insight on your views, faith, and beliefs connected to this world and beyond, gaining wisdom and growth throughout this experience. You may travel abroad or have deeply transformative experience abroad that change you on a spiritual level permanently. You could have powerful dreams, and your intuition can increase intensely. You may preach or study philosophy or want to research a certain religious or spiritual path, even astrology. A father figure could pass away during this transit or become quite meaningful in your life. Permanent changes in the lives of your in-laws as well. Watch for difficulty with the law. You may completely change the way you have always believed life to be about. It would be good to know that you need to use caution to not become fanatically obsessed with a belief and possibly shove your views onto others, but this growth period of your connection to the divine, to God, will bring with it presence of wisdom and getting closer to your soul purpose and soul journey. Neptune has been in your 10th house of Pisces since 2011 and will be until 2025, where you may have been unsure of your life path and direction. You may have experienced confusion and much disorientation, or that you've maybe felt like you've been living a lie or a life that hasn't been aligned really with who you are. In some cases, it may have been a time where you've been dealing with much deception in the outer world, or could have been taken for a ride too easily, being too trusting and compassionate. With Neptune here, there can be much opposition from others towards getting ahead, or there can be more of a tiredness and a running down energy, or in some cases depression or a slacking off energy. It's important to live a life that's not meaningless, and this is what Neptune here may have been bringing to your attention. Intuitive sensitivity to the energy that is right for you. You'll begin to yearn more for a path that's not just a validation of your life, but that it is a life true to who you are. Some wake-up calls can show up to remind yourself you're not your job. During this transit, you may be drawn to a more spiritual or musical or artistic career path. You may be more involved with people that suffer in some way, or people that have addictions, or some kind of social work could play a role here. Listening to your feelings and trusting your intuition is important now, as energy does not lie. Remember to be not too forgiving so that you are not used during this time. Uranus has been in your 12th house of Taurus since 2018 and will be here until 2026. You may have experienced unusual financial events on a mundane level, but overall, Uranus here could have brought you in contact with hidden enemies or compulsive behaviors connected to childhood or the past. Subconscious behavior patterns can sabotage connections with others until you learn to recognize them and possibly get counseling or therapy or practice self-healing techniques in order to accept forgive, and transform this energy from dark to light. There can at times be unusual sexual desires or experiences, experimentation with taboo topics, or same-sex, etc. This can for some indicate unexpected visits to a hospital, or work or volunteering with orphans, or time in counseling, a hospital, a prison, or a more secluded, exotic, faraway place. Some can find this is a time of intense spiritual revelations and flashes of insight and deeper awareness. You can either spiral downward into more self-sabotage through addictive behaviors and losing yourself through escapism habits, or you can deepen your spiritual practice, get grounded to the earth, raise your vibration, grow your own food, gain a higher perspective, and connect with the divine energy that permeates us whole. It would be good to do a lymph cleanse regularly now, as well as being more careful with your finances and mental health. Saturn has been pioneering through your 9th house of Aquarius for almost 3 years, paving the way for Pluto that will be ingressing here. But Pluto, or Saturn I should say, will be ingressing Pisces, your 10th house, as of March 7th, my apologies, for almost 3 years. So while Saturn is in your 9th house, which has been since December of 2020, which will now be until March, you may have been digging deeper into the unconventional topics of spirituality, faith, and beliefs, either integrating into an area or group or separating more. You may have had to travel for responsibilities or work, or you may have been separated from someone by distance. In some cases, a loss of some kind may have brought you to investigate the deeper meanings of life. Your father may have played a more serious role, or there may have been more of a separation here. Topics of in-laws, foreign places, and legal issues could have come up for you during this time. Maybe paperwork regarding property or structures, or paperwork regarding studies or immigration or import and export. You may have really sunk your teeth into a study direction, learning a lot about a certain area, doing something that maybe most people thought would not work out. There may have been fear of leaping, fear of trying the new, fear of doing the odd thing, fear of travel or learning something new, or fear of spending money on something. Caution to thinking you have learned everything or know everything. Stay humble and keep moving forward without judgment. Keep learning and growing in wisdom whilst learning about the world around you. This is a period where you really get to know yourself deeper, and the wisdom you gain now, if you stay open, will assist you greatly once Saturn moves into your 10th house of career. Therefore, don't take any shortcuts. Do the work and the rewards will come in time. But Saturn likes to be reminding us of patience, and Saturn likes us to take our time. Consistently though, diligently though. Saturn will ingress your 10th house of Pisces in March, your house of career, life direction. A period of time where you will work hard, possibly gain more responsibility at work, or move up in leadership. Or you may be quite productive in some cases. It can also mean that you neglect home with too much focus on the outer world or status and how others see you. In some cases, this can be a time where you retire from a position or work harder to move up the ladder. This transit can make you more serious than normal and have you also seriously considering your life direction. your father or another authority figure may have featured or is still more prominent during this transit. Saturn comes to harvest the rewards or consequences of your karma from the last 20 to 24-ish years while here. So this transit can add responsibilities to your life or career in some way, or maybe having to deal with certain responsibilities that you may not enjoy. In some cases, it can also bring certain chronic health issues to the fore, or of that of a partner or a parent. Overall, this transit will show you what you do not want to do and help you to streamline that which is important, taking the reins to lead your life with less confusion and chaos and more objectivity, as you should begin to feel more complete in this area of life by the end of this transit. Jupiter is in Aries in your 11th house until May 16th, when it enters Taurus, your 12th. Jupiter here can bring benefits through a mentor or friends, foreign interests, different and unusual people and ideals for the future take full stage here. You may have become more involved with a group or have been learning much through a group dynamic. You may have been called on, or you may be called on to be supportive as a friend as well, or vice versa. You may be more in tune with politics and the world at large. Maybe even become more actively involved in improving the world around you. Working with others can bring great blessings now, such as filling potholes on the road if there's no teams coming out to fix it. But you also have to be cautious of not being taken for granted or used in some way by others. Stay compassionate but awake, especially with Mars retrograde in Gemini for some of this transit. While in your 12th house, as of May, you could begin a new treatment of some kind with Jupiter here, such as counseling or seek financial advice from an advisor. You may spend more time working with people in need, or dealing or working with institutions such as prisons or hospitals or faraway places, or maybe even a farm, or dealing or working with institutions such as a prison or a hospital or faraway place. You may feel like you need a break or a holiday or go on some yoga retreat. Sometimes this can indicate spending more time alone or in seclusion, healing, working on your mental health, on your addictions or any self-sabotaging habits. Jupiter here can assist in dropping addictions more easily, such as sugar or alcohol, but it can also make it worse or out of control if you're not cautious. So where you put your focus now is important. Miracles can happen. Caution for overeating, overindulgence of all kinds, drugs, alcohol, sex, spending too much, etc. While in your 12th house, Jupiter can heighten your spiritual awareness and possibly bring your subconscious darker issues to the fore, such as self-sabotage or other psychological themes, in order for you to acknowledge and heal them. Your empathy for others increase, and you may become or receive a spiritual teacher or findings that grab your interest or has you involved in church or some kind of spiritual involvement. In rare cases, there can be death or mourning, but a relief. This is also an indicator of travel or learning abroad or looking into such ideas. It can sometimes indicate pregnancy in some. Your dreams can become quite intense, and you have a kind of inner knowingness and faith that underlines everything. A protection. Some can spend more time in prayer, but this transit will broaden your spiritual and worldly understanding, almost as if a symphony just puts it together. Music and any kind of artistic endeavor can be much more transformative now, and also healing. The 1st of June, Jupiter will conjunct the North Node in Taurus, which can bring powerful and fortunate connections, a lucky break, an opportunity to act towards the future, healing of some kind, a financial blessing or change, or a modality of healing, or an ultimate release. Mars will begin the year in retrograde. So please check out the Mars retrograde in Gemini video. This is very important for you to watch especially. I'll put the link in the description box below. The general one is very important. It's long, but please listen to it. And then you can also listen to the rising sign for Gemini video, which is also linked in that video's description box. But until about mid-January, Mars will be retrograde in Gemini in your first house of self, where you have been pondering much and rethinking your approach and perspective on life and your identity itself. Mars here can bring an increase in energy, libido, aggressiveness, impulsiveness, but with the retrograde, also much energy fluctuations. In some cases, you can act more selfishly with Mars here or have a short fuse, possibly not as willing to cooperate or compromise much. It would be better, therefore, to rather work alone during this time, if you can, or more independently. You will want your own way more, maybe have more arguments or confrontations, but you'll be able to accomplish much more now. You're more accident prone, as well as more susceptible to health issues such as headaches, inflammation, lung and joint and muscle issues, injuries to the hands, arms, shoulders, fingers, nervous tension or issues with nerves and electrical impulses, burns, electrical and technological issues are more likely. So think before you speak, do or drive. It might also be a good time to check into the condition of your vehicle. It may not be a good time to purchase a new vehicle until after Mars and Mercury has stationed direct in January. So more towards the end of January, but I would rather say not until middle February. As of the 25th of March, Mars will be moving into your second house of Cancer, where you may have been taking practical action or where you will be taking practical action towards change in the area of your work, how you earn a living, your committed relationships, your past and family, and also possibly your diet. Mars here can have you try out more spicy foods. It can have you eating faster, speaking faster. Therefore, be more cautious regarding choking and putting your foot in your mouth. You can feel much more busy, also weighing options here. Mars can have you spending more money now or more impulsively, so be cautious. For some, this can indicate buying a home or property. You may be working more on your home now, adding comfort and functionality, cooking more, etc. Some could be thinking of working from home or starting a business. There can be a higher chance of throat or neck injuries, also inflammation, etc. Arguments can arise here regarding income, financial topics, ownership, investments, property, possessions, etc. Business. You could be deciding on when to take action regarding investments on all the topics I just mentioned, buying and selling, and also defending your values, your self-worth, and how you identify with what you own. There can be damage to possessions now. So it will be important to make sure you've got insurance that covers your possessions and finances. Remember, you are not what you do or own, and your worth cannot be measured by that. It's a great time to cut any negative ancestral influences and transform darkness into light, breaking the patterns from the past, and taking action on being more organized and being more mindful about your spending habits. Mars will ingress into your third house of Leo as of the 20th of May, where you can experience extreme emotional ups and downs, Sometimes this can involve family, friends, neighbors, siblings. You could be more busy doing paperwork or overthinking or making decisions, taking a new learning course or actively learning more or teaching, or even dealing with new technology or technological issues. More everyday business with appointments and schedules. Maybe you are taking your vehicle to be repaired, or looking into the condition of your vehicle, or maybe you're thinking of buying a vehicle. Your commute to work and your surrounding neighborhood can come up more now for review. There is more possibility for arguments with neighbors, or there may just be more construction in your area or more violence, or maybe you are helping a neighbor or working on mending a fence. There can be more emotional conversation connected to your mum or your home or family and friends or siblings in some way. Some could be working on a speech or have more activity connected to social media or even arguments there. Be more cautious driving, as you may be more accident prone now and impulsive. Think before you speak, as this transit can have you use harsh words due to the more emotional mental stimulation at this time. Now, from around middle May, around the 21st of May, a few days after Mars ingresses Leo in your third house, Mars will oppose Pluto at 0 degrees of Leo, which can indicate the potential for raw passion and intense sexual attractions, as well as the possibility of power struggles and arguments, competition, and even violence. Keep that in your awareness and stay out of conflict or confrontation if you can. If you cannot avoid this, get assistance if needed. So definitely in your neighborhood, where you're traveling, where you're when you leave your house, you want to make sure that you are staying out of any possible danger. A few days after, Mars will square Jupiter in Taurus in the first few degrees, on which is a good energetic time to forward new projects. So just stay realistic and don't overextend yourself. On the 26th of June, Mars in Leo will square Uranus in Taurus at 21 degrees, and it will be important to remember that new challenges need new solutions, not old ways. There can be a restlessness here, or a rebelliousness of wanting to break free from something or someone or a pattern of some kind. It will be important to notice the signs and create change that you can systematically create in order to not completely throw the baby out with the bathwater, waiting until it is too late. You can be more accident prone now. It is important to work out physically, to release stress and excessive energy, but do it safely and be more careful using electricity and machinery. This is great to channel your energy now in breaking bad self-sabotaging habits. Mars will move into your fourth house of Virgo as of the 10th of July, where you can experience extreme emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve a family member or a parent, or issues from the past can be triggered. Subconscious feelings connected to the past can be brought up almost explosively. You can spend more time moving or working from or on your home. There can be more fighting at home, arguments, or a sense of wanting to live alone. It can feel as if someone's trying to block you in some way, or maybe even you're blocking yourself in some way. This is a time where it's easier for you or a parent to get injured at home. So be more careful of fires, knives in the kitchen, etc. Don't leave candles unattended. Try to be more compromising where you can, avoiding being overly bossy and demanding to those around you and being overly selfish. You can be very self-absorbed now without even realizing it. There can be more violence and action in your place of birth or ancestral roots or home location. Mars will oppose Neptune just before entering Libra and this can bring a slowdown or a disappointment for some. So it can bring in more of a probability of becoming ill or getting an infection. So stay away from alcohol, take more care of your health, your mental health, and just bring your body, mind, and soul more into alignment during this time. Mars will ingress Libra in your 5th house on the 27th of August, which can enhance leadership ability, your drive for power and control, and the urge to succeed can increase. You could start a new relationship at this time or be more sexual or romantic now, more expressive. It's good to work on a relationship and try new exciting things to spice it up if you're in a committed relationship. You may partake in sport of some kind. You could start your own business or move your creative hobbies into more of a serious side hustle. This is also a time where there can be more conflict involving a child or arguments, and also the possibilities of accidents with them. They could be going through hormonal developments at this time. It's also more possible to be more nitpicky with them or your own creative work, but you will be more attentive to detail now and crossing those T's. Avoid being too judgmental and remind your children to be more safe, as they can be more accident prone. Spending more time with your children and around children could be good for you at this time. A child may require more attention or help with work. In some cases, a child could be starting a job. There's more possibility now for getting pregnant. So if you don't want to be more careful. But there's a strong likelihood that you could meet someone new or have more opportunity to work on your love relationships. So take action and get yourself out there and have fun and tap into that younger side of you, to the things that made you smile and laugh when you were young. And join the activities that you enjoy doing, especially if you're single, so that you can meet people that are interested in the same things as you. In the first week of October, Mars will conjunct the South Node in Libra and oppose the North Node in Aries, also whilst squaring Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Mars here can indicate withdrawing from physical confrontation. Energy levels can feel more depleted, more passive-aggressive. This can also indicate putting your gun down in relationships, or a ceasefire, or a giving up, or maybe you don't need to search anymore, the search is up, or it could be that you're ending it, or you're healing it, or you're letting go of habits that no longer work constructively for you. Or you may have to let go of some unrealistic goals or rework your ideas. Now, Mars will ingress Scorpio in your 6th house on the 12th of October. And I'm sorry, I just have to take a sip of my tea. And can bring arguments and discord in close one-on-one connections. You can experience more selfishness, competitiveness in your day-to-day work routines and with colleagues. You can use this time to work on the relationship or work on a project together whilst working on the communication with the relationship, etc. But it may be better to rather just tackle projects now that you can work on by yourself if you can. In some cases, you can break up. In others, you can start a new relationship that's more physical maybe. In some cases, this can indicate accidents at work or with machinery, or the end or beginning or change in your day job routines. You could be more prone to overworking and be more susceptible for inflammation and health topics connected to sugar, yeast infections, sexual transmitted diseases, your balance, your thyroid, hormones, kidneys, hearing, did I say headaches, etc. It may be better to try an alternative health option now if needed. If you overwork now and you do not create balance in your day-to-day life, their stress can manifest in your physical body. So it's very important that you take care of that. Take better care of also bringing in exercise and sticking to it. Trying a new workout routine that's more mind, body, soul, and holistic, and staying away from sugar. Think more before you use any machinery. It'll be important now to stand up for yourself if you need to, and to not become your own enemy. On the 29th of October, Mars opposes Jupiter in Taurus, which can bring luck or favorable action. You may want to do more physically, energetic-wise, spend more time on your one-on-one love relationships or your close relationships or your business partnerships. Just make sure you're not acting in selfishness and that you stay within your means and that you don't act foolishly. This is a time that you can birth a new kind of connection, but it's easy to go overboard. But there can be a new partnership or a new topic associated with your sense of well-being, your mental and physical health, play and work, chaos and order. This can bring miracles in letting go of bad habits, but this will mainly affect 12th and 6th house matters. On the 12th of November, Mars opposes Uranus in Taurus. This can bring in a restlessness or a frustration or an emotional explosion of sorts, or a breakaway energy towards freedom and independence as you or towards you. Or this is the final breakaway you've been waiting for, a release and a victory, but it comes with resistance and may not be easy at first. In some cases, this can indicate surgery or accidents. Therefore, make sure to exercise safely, use motorized equipment and electricity with care, and take more care of your health. This can also bring in issues with electricity and even the cutting of electricity in some areas. Expect the unexpected. Take especially care with the use of any pharmaceutical drugs, your mental health, and addictive and escapism topics, confusion with clarity, truth versus lies, health versus disease, chaos versus order. On November 24th, Mars ingresses Sagittarius in your 7th house. And Mars here gives a more future-oriented drive, freedom and adventure seeking, and can bring arguments and discord in close one-on-one connections and spousal relationships as well. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness here, more action, conflict, or you can use this time to work on the relationship, put more energy into it, more focus, or work on a project that can bring you together whilst working on it. In some cases, you can break up. In others, you can start a new relationship now that's more physical, maybe with someone more middle-aged. In some cases, this can indicate legal action. Regardless, the tendency to act against one's own will or against one's own best interest can rear its head at this time, over-compromising. So take better care of your health and think before you act and operate machinery, and don't be used. Mars will square Saturn upon its entry in Sagittarius at 0 degrees of Pisces. And this can be frustrating in getting things done. The key is to work slow and steady and with consistent progress. Don't force things too hard right now. Some can experience blockages in their forward progress due to the fear of not being good enough or fear of facing who they truly are. And it's important to not take others' opinions as validation of who you are at this time. Now, Mars in Sagittarius will square Neptune in Pisces on December 28th. So the year ends on a more disappointing note in some ways, where you may feel discouraged or not happy with how something turned out. Doubt or inadequacy, either way, regardless of whether you made a wrong or a right turn, giving up is not an option. Face yourself, not others, and make the changes you know when your heart is right. Pray and listen to your intuition. You must not do anything devious in trying to fix a situation. Make sure you take care of your health, as you may feel more lethargic or maybe have come down with an illness or because of a disappointment or just being very disappointed. Remind yourself that this too shall pass. This is, of course, a worst case scenario. It can simply mean that it's a small no or a hospital visit or the need to talk to someone that can help you out of a negative headspace. So do what you can, control what you can, and surrender the rest to God. The retrogrades for Mercury will be in all earth signs this year, putting our focus to the material world around us and the structures that support us. And between December 13th, 2022 and the first week of February, we can expect more chaos regarding travel, traffic, extreme weather, the mail system. We can have issues with technology, electricity, unpaid work, changes in politics and business, and so forth. As both Mars and Mercury, its dispositor right now in Gemini, will both be retrograde. But Mercury also rules your chart, so these retrogrades affect you more strongly. Now, from the 29th of December, 2022 till the 18th of January, Mercury will retrograde in Capricorn from 24 degrees to 8 degrees in your 8th house. Now, every Mercury retrograde is a time where there can be misunderstandings and mishaps because it appears to be moving backwards. It can be conversations going haywire, misinterpretations, forgetting paperwork for travel, rescheduling, all of that. While Mercury retrogrades through Capricorn specifically, it targets the areas of life that Capricorn rules, like the career, ambition, public status. It can give setbacks in work, clash with authority, or give you a blow to your image. But it is a time to rethink this area of life, to reassess and see where changes or adjustments are needed. It's sort of like a blessing period if you want to see it in a more positive light. It gives you time to really get into that area and look at it in a deeper way. This can also affect the parental relationship, but for you, it's happening in your 8th house. So you could also be re-examining your shared resources, your business and spousal agreements, business partnerships, the give and take in relationships, the financial balances, taxes, owings, debt, wills, and so forth. It may be time to redistribute the wealth or renew your insurance or check when your insurance pays out or runs out. It's not always a good time to take out a loan, but it is a good time to pay off your debts and taxes or figure out and organize and rebudget and figure out how you can do that. It may be a good time to discuss joint resources and business projects. It's not a good time to take out a mortgage or a loan or invest in a new business. Sexual issues and intimacy and trust can also come up for discussion. This can be a great connection period with a lover on an intimate level, going really deep and communicating what's really important to you and really bringing you a lot closer in unity. Past intimate relationships can maybe come up in order to understand yourself better and your needs better. But you will be eliminating the old and cleansing your mind and You might deal with a lot of shadow work or things from the past, traumatic events that come up that's triggered, or secrets or hidden things that are coming up to be dealt with at this time. It's a great time for psychoanalysis or going for any type of counseling or healing therapy to help you deal with traumas from the past, or talking to someone about any toxicity or toxic relationships that you may need to heal from. Now, on the 21st of April till the 14th of May, Mercury will retrograde in Taurus from 15 degrees to 5 degrees in your 12th house. And the need for a retreat could be much stronger with Mercury here. There can be more of an interest to your own inner psychology. There can be deep messages through dreams from your unconscious. So it could be a good time to keep a record of your dreams. Images from past lives can surface during this time. Sometimes it can feel like you have no one to rely on, and you can feel quite lonely during this time. You can have many regrets, or you can deal with sorrow and just being more separated from others. It's important to deal with the feelings that are coming up right now, to be kind to yourself and to speak to others if you need to go for therapy. If you continue to have negative self-talk, you will continue in this negative spiral. So it's important to change your thinking and get focused on positive things and how you're going to create your future moving forward, and how you're going to do things differently. The better choices that you're going to make from here on out. So trust that you can make the right decisions moving forward, and that you will have the support you need. Spend time in prayer, as your ultimate support and foundation comes from above. Your spiritual life will get a boost with Mercury retrograde here. As the outside world loses its power over you more, you will be more inclined to spiritual topics and raising your vibration. You can be much more intuitive and sensitive to others at this time, also to other worlds and other dimensions. Synchronicity will speak to you more vividly. Spiritual renewal is possible now. So it's important to pray and meditate and spend time in seclusion now, using it to your own benefit. It's during our darkest times that the light is defined more powerfully. On the 23rd of August until the 15th of September, Mercury will retrograde from 21 Virgo to 8 Virgo in your 4th house. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Your home is your sanctuary. Does it reflect who you are? Do you feel stuck in your home or in your living situation? Do you feel like you're in a rut? It could be a good time to reorganize your furniture, move things around, redecorate, to see if you want to change things around a bit, bring in new life. It's also got to do with your past and your roots and parents and your foundation as a child, and how you deal with any subconscious patterning that you may have picked up as a child, dealing with certain behaviors and certain control mechanisms. So you may become more aware of negative thinking or patterns that have a significant impact upon your life and how it gets triggered, especially through those that live with you. So don't be afraid to ask yourself fundamental questions. So if there's old childhood issues that resurface, or you walk down memory lane, It's important to connect with family, reconnect with family, forgive, do the healing, make peace with your past so that you can move on into healthier relationships going forward. You could also be refurnishing. Get that comfy couch. Now, on July 22nd till the 3rd of September, Venus will be retrograding. Now, during Venus retrogrades, we are rethinking style, beauty, our values, our self-worth, our fairness, justice, choices, partners, food, comfort, pleasure, what we desire, nature, money, and of course, love and balance. Now, Venus will be retrograding in your 3rd house, and this can bring a lot of information overload, even for you. So it might be a good time to take a time away from social media or not being so busy, to avoid things that make you nervous or anxious. You may be changing what you like to do, what you like to do in your neighborhood, what kind of food you purchase, as well as the way you communicate could change. You could meet someone from your past in your neighborhood, walk into an old lover, but you will be communicating with more intention and from the heart this summer, which also requires you to really pay attention when others are speaking. Now, Mars will retrograde in Gemini. Oh, and before I start with Mars retrograde, Venus retrograde here in your 3rd house can also deal with buying and selling makeup, beauty products, fashionable items, and food, and anything that's Venus ruled. And it can make you also return items. So really make sure that you are purchasing something that you really want and that you're not going to regret. Now, Mars retrograde in Gemini is from the 30th of October 2022 until the 12th of January. So check my in-depth video about that in the description box below, and also the individual rising sign video link. But in general, how are you using your energy? How is your drive? Is your work fulfilling? Are you listening to your body? What are you passionate about? Now, Mars is retrograding in your 1st house, which can have you revise yourself, putting yourself under revision. You can be dealing with old injuries that come back to be dealt with. Take time to look inwardly more in order to manifest change outwardly. Perhaps it's a time to use unresolved anger in a more positive way. Maybe you can start kickboxing or some other exercise routine that can actually help you to release stress and energy and anger. It's important to not let anything fester at this time, or you could blow up. You're much more accident prone right now, so check the condition of your vehicle. Think before you speak, do, run, cross the street, all of the above. Now, during Jupiter retrogrades, we can be more in tune with the deeper meanings of life, deeper values and beliefs, and want to connect more on a spiritual level. We have to work a little harder for our opportunities. We benefit more on a spiritual level. We become more passionate, generous, more inward reflecting on what's good and more wholesome and what's true. We become more contemplative and try to do good and see good in others. But we must also be careful of not being used. Now, Jupiter will be retrograde from the 4th of September till the 30th of December, from 15 Taurus to 5 degrees Taurus in your 12th house. Now, Jupiter retrograde here is a time to investigate your faith, to make progress on your own spiritual path, to think about your philosophies of life and your spirituality. You can take more action in this area. You can be more compassionate towards others and do more volunteer work. But it's also important to go for counseling if you need to. This can be a transit where you can fall back into negative self-sabotaging habits. So you want to make sure that you reach out to others if you find yourself reaching for the bottle, or if you find yourself drowning in a bad habit like overspending. So it's very important also to not be used right now in a financial level as well. So make sure that you stay objective. Usually during Saturn retrogrades, we are reminded of reality, the aspects of life we cannot avoid, rules, responsibilities, losses, length of life, taxes, restrictions, hard work, things we don't like, authority, time itself, commitments, the structures of our lives. Now, Saturn will be retrograde from the 17th of January till the 4th of November, from 7 degrees to 0 degrees Pisces. And this will be in your 10th house. Now, Saturn here can slow down your ambitions and the forward action in your career, but it's very necessary because it needs to happen for you to clear up some karma, clear up some hang-ups and blockages, deal with some legislation maybe, or some rules you didn't expect. But don't expect to make a lot of progress during that time, but more to learn about how to fix things, how to work on things, keep consistently, diligently working towards your goals. Take advice from older people and wiser people. Get advice if you need it. Stay open-minded. Don't think you know too much. And really pay attention. But it's important to really learn whatever you can right now about where your true vocation lies and what's working and what's not working at this time, and what makes your heart sing and what does not, and what's realistic and what's not. This is the most important part. What is realistic and what do you need to restructure going forward to build a more solid foundation that can last. Now, eclipses are activated during an eclipse, and they can also be manifesting in ways 6 months prior, including 6 months post in most cases. Sometimes it's on the day, sometimes it's months before or after. I will briefly be going over these just to see where they're falling in your chart, but I will be going into them in more depth during the year. Now, on the 20th of April, there will be an annular total solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries in your 11th house, where new beginnings can occur connected to your future goals or ideas. This is an anaretic degree, so it's very powerful. There can be a new seed of intention, a new friend or mentor or benefactor. You can learn a new technology or acquire something or acquire a technology to assist you with your plans moving forward. You could begin a new membership or a group affiliation of some sort. There can be a blessing that comes in. There can be changes in the area of colleagues or peers at work. These are all possible manifestations. Your work responsibilities could change as well as your business income. There can also be changes in requirements or legislation regarding some kind of paperwork or certification that you may need done. Maybe you're working on an app for your business. On the 5th of May, Oh, and let me also say that that new beginning is also connected to something that you're finishing, but that is beginning. Now, on the 5th of May, there will be a penumbral lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Scorpio in your 6th house. And this is endings, fruitions, and culminations in the area of health and daily work routines and schedules and responsibilities. You may experience changes in your health, your habits, your schedules, your coworkers, those under you, your tenants, employees, etc., your animals or pets. You may change from going to the gym to doing yoga at home, or quitting a job, or changing positions. You may stop eating dairy, or, maybe you take on some other dietary change. Your daily responsibilities will change here. Or there can maybe be an ending in a health issue in some way. Now, on the 14th of October, there will be an annular solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Libra in your 5th house, where there will be a new beginning or seed being planted, a change in the area of children, romance, fun, creative self-expression, and self-made businesses. You could get a lucky break. You could start a new sport or a new hobby or get pregnant. You could start a new relationship or a new way of having fun, a new way of self-expression. You could turn your hobby into a business or have a breakthrough with a child, or take action regarding your passionate beliefs about something. On the 28th of October, there will be a partial lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Taurus in your 12th house. This is an ending or a completion or the fruition of something in this area of release, endings, the area of mental health, of self-sabotage, of self-undoing, of addiction, of grief, of loneliness. You could end an addiction, you could end a secret love affair, or there could be a lazy tendency that you are now bringing to a close. You could be checking out of a hospital or finishing a treatment or a therapy or a counseling of some sort. You could be finishing an art project or a poem or the lyrics to a song, or you could be finishing time abroad or a holiday, or a period of seclusion or loneliness could come to an end. You could be released from prison. Any of the above are possibilities, but there can be an end also of how you allow the subconscious to control you. Well, thank you for listening, Gemini Rising. You are diving deep into self-awareness this year, healing and purging. It's a year of purification for you, letting go of the past and finding out who your real friends are, making new friends and connections that bring you business and bring your ideas more growth and direction, finding a mentor and inspiration and where you belong, moving forward in your plans for the future with a new and more optimistic perspective, and transforming darkness into light. A new perspective on your plans for the future begins in 2023. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. May you have a wonderful 2023. Until next time, bye-bye.